Hey there, and thanks for your interest in the head of business position that we have advertised currently at eSuite. That position is for I Love Linen. And today we have Lauren Rowe, who is the founder and the CEO of I Love Linen. Now, if you haven't checked them out, make sure you go to the website, have a look. They sell some of the most premium homewares. It's beautiful stuff. And Lauren is here to give us a little bit more insight into the business and how she works. So you can check that out. I'll be back after this conversation to give you a little bit more information about the role. Enjoy. Lauren, thank you for joining us to give our candidates a little bit of an overview and a bit of behind the scenes on the I Love Linen role we have advertised. So before we kick in, can you give us an overview of who you are and who I Love Linen are?
Well, thank you for taking us on this journey as well. So for whomever is watching, hello. Really grateful to know that you're spending the time to get to know a little bit more about the business and me as a founder, because we'll be working together really closely. I myself have worked in marcoms for 20 years now. Started in agency, have worked in corporate, I've worked in tertiary institutions, and just have a really, really well-rounded approach to many facets of marketing. I wouldn't say I'm an expert in any sense, but it was just enough of a taste and a flavor for me to get started to begin the business. So essentially, I started the company a couple of weeks after I gave birth to my first baby, which I thought would be a totally normal thing to do.
Best time to start a company.
An insane idea, but I think that, I'm a really focused, hardworking individual, and I, to be frank, had a really well-paid, supportive job in a corporate institution, and never really found that right time to take that leap, start my own thing, give it a go. I was just too focused on, kind of keeping things as they were. So taking that time out of my role was really the only time that for someone like me gave me that chance to start I Love Linen. So it's one of those typical stories of, starts from the kitchen table, picking and packing orders from the garage, and then lo and behold, several years later,
Here we are
with like multi-million-dollar turnover and that sort of thing. So the business itself has kind of changed over the years, but we're now very much, and I mean that in terms of product and maybe some of the branding and that sort of thing, but we're now very much at the point where we've got some really, really beautiful foundations in terms of our brand, its tone of voice, its aesthetic, its product mix. Obviously we're known for really beautiful, high quality French linen. And that's something that, we're really, really passionate about. There's so many places you can go and kind of buy, bedding these days from when we first started, and not sort of our quality or letting kind of our focus, and we're absolutely looking for just a star player who can really kind of take that quality story and expand that a lot more to people, because we don't really talk about it probably as much as we could. It's what we take for granted as designers and lovers of fabric. So yeah, we're a small but mighty team. We're based in the beautiful sunny Gold Coast. For the moment, lockdown free. We've been enjoying beautiful privileges for the last 12 months. And yeah, the business is just at this next stage of massively exciting super growth. So we really want someone who just wants to take that, take the reins, with my guidance and support, and just execute on a phenomenal strategy.
So we were saying before we jumped onto this chat is that my wife buys a lot from I Love Linen, and is a regular customer. So I'm really familiar with I Love Linen. For those who may not have experienced it or even come across I Love Linen, how would you describe your brand to those people?
Well, first of all, your wife gets a pat on the back for being a wonderful, loyal customer and explaining the brand to you. So that's really exciting to know. That's really awesome. The brand I would describe as a premium Australian homewares company with a focus on sustainability, and the kind of expanding focus will be on sort of technology, which there is a way to kind of have both together. I would describe the brand aesthetic as fairly like slow living and relaxed and about sort of escape A lot of the locations, that we shoot at are sort of, beach homes or kind of by the coast, maybe driven by the fact that we are on the Gold Coast and we're near Byron Bay and the like. But interestingly enough, a lot of our core customers actually reside within inner cities, and it's just an aesthetic that resonates for people. Whether you love going on holidays, you have a particular aesthetic, I think we've done a really good job at having that point of difference. And technology is one area that we've sort of been mulling over for the last little while in terms of how to actually bring a better sort of 3D, realistic experience to our consumers. And literally next month, we're about to launch an incredibly exciting, awesome project, which will hopefully be best in class, given the renders and things we've been working on. So yeah, I would again like to find someone who wants to kind of work for a brand with soul and ethics and purpose, but is equally as assertive when it comes to best practice technology and retail skills as well. There is a way to do both, and we're looking for that, phenomenal individual.
Brilliant. And you've mentioned there that you've got some big growth plans coming up, and you mentioned their focus on technology, and you mentioned some 3D modeling. What should people be really excited about for the next 12 months at I Love Linen that you can give away?
Well, a couple of pillars. So one is technology, really wanting to have a best in class, experience online for our customers. So whether that be how, you style your bed and you get a real feel for it using, existing kind of technology and really aiming to be best in class, through to just the website itself, getting a really great fine tuning so that it is just optimized for both desktop and mobile, and it can look beautiful, but it's really functional too. We are very excited about the footprint that we want to extend to the United States. So somebody who really wants to kind of have a global remit, we're excited to meet. We've had sort of organic, sales within the States and realized that this is obviously a market with huge potential if done right. The caveat being you actually need to plan for that success, because it's a phenomenally huge market, but also one, it's notoriously difficult to crack into. So there's expanding that region, and we've got some additional textile and fabric range expansions too. So in terms of, increasing LTV and just increasing that kind of potentially whole new customer into our community that might not, choose to sleep on linen. We've got some really awesome launches coming as well.
It's very exciting. Now, you've been there. You mentioned that you were there from the start, founder, packing boxes, all the way through to managing this organization with a team working with you. What kind of people work best at I Love Linen? What are the personality traits and the skills that you look for and really kind of hang on to?
Look, to answer that question, I have to reflect upon probably about who mentored me and who made an impact on me, because it's a reactive process. Sort of, how you're mentored heavily goes into potentially how you mentor others. I was fortunate to work, under and be nurtured by some very incredibly professional women, but they all sort of had similar characteristics. They were very direct. They were able to move at fast pace, rapidly unpack puzzles very quickly and move on. And I think that, people that can operate in a similar space. eComm is fast paced, and so there's always going to be best laid plans that then potentially don't work out, and you've got to maybe pivot or tweak in real time. And it's about being able to just have a very direct discussion in terms of, well, how do we tweak this strategy, because maybe it's not actually turning out into the conversion we wanted, and let's just solve for it and move on. So someone who is really capable at just having direct, honest conversations, and focusing on the work first, if that makes sense. And people that are, outgoing with a great sense of humor. The marketing team, it's a very bright, bubbly, gregarious team, like lots of, fun, lovely personalities. So somebody that likes to contribute and being, a social person, hardworking, motivated, and bringing a strategy to me, not potentially just the problem. So I tend to really love and admire people that do the work and show me how brilliant they are. They always tend to be the ones that really align to, find myself, finding a bit more of a kinship, because I'm quite a direct, fast-moving person myself.
Yeah, brilliant. Now, if people are listening to this and they go, I love Lynnon's story, and I think I'd work really well with Lauren, and they're putting together a resume right now. They may not have one, but they're putting one together. What are some of the skills or experiences that you would love to see that they should really emphasize in that to get cut through?
Um, hmm. Skill sets. Having this role is about really obviously taking on a bigger piece of the pie than if you're just heading up an ecom function, but would make sense if you have been leading a team, because let's be honest, the head of our business, we really are just a website. So the business itself is all digital. But we are looking for somebody who is incredible when it comes to attention to detail, because when you're looking at all functions of the business, actually having an ability to look at all the detail is very important, not just having potentially like an entrepreneurial view where you figure out the detail later. So it's about having the balance in terms of, I'm great at brainstorming and coming up with strategies, but I'm equally reliable. And if we say something's going to be executed, it literally gets executed on time and on budget. I have a really strong track record of delivering or over delivering. I'm a great problem solver. I'm a great people person and team leader. I've had exposure to sort of these, exciting projects where maybe I was that champion of change, and I've managed to bring people along that journey, where something might feel new to them, but I was that person that had a very clear strategy and, was able to figure out the best way to get certain, team members or senior stakeholders along for that, to see the vision. And somebody who's vested and wants to treat the business like their own. This is a really what we feel is an exciting opportunity to be sitting right up the top at the, the leadership table with myself, pretty much, sort of big LT. But if someone's always felt like, I wish I could own the whole piece, because it's frustrating that I kind of have to execute on a strategy about products or timing that's been decided by somewhere else, and I just wish that I could have that macro view. Those are the people that, we're really excited to meet.
Brilliant. I think you've given people more than enough hints of what to emphasize. So that's great. Lauren, thank you so much for your time and giving our candidates a little bit of an insight to working with you. And I love Linen. So we look forward to bringing you some great people.
Thanks so much.
So there you go. There's a little bit of behind the scenes of I Love Linen. Now, there are 3 reasons that we are really excited about this role. Number one, and probably the most obvious and potentially most superficial, based on the Gold Coast, 10 minutes from Burleigh, not in lockdown. What a stunning location and brilliant place to be working out of. Number 2, we heard there from Lauren about the growth story of I Love Linen, what they want to do with technology, how they want to expand into the US. There is so much mileage in this brand and potential to make their story, your story, massive growth. And we've seen from their track record that they will do it. Number 3, the opportunity to work with Lauren. She has such a phenomenal background and has built this brand from the ground on up. She is looking for someone to work alongside her really closely. So unless you are starting your own business, there is no other way to get the entrepreneurial background and learnings that you will get from Lauren. What a fantastic mentor and opportunity to learn from one of the best in the business. So if that's got you excited, make sure you reach out to us for a chat. Contact Em to find out more and to apply.